Hello and welcome back to an episode of Generation Ochi. My name is American Ben. Today we're gonna cover the new Netflix anime High-Rise Invasion, which is based on the manga of the same name, written by Tsuina Miura and illustrated by Takehiro Oba. Why am I covering this show? Well, two reasons. First, Netflix keeps shoving it in my face, so let's not pretend like I actually have a choice. And two, a couple of commenters on this channel recommended it to me. One being a longtime viewer of mine, Peter Yim, and the other being a user by the name of Becky with the good hair was here. I have to say I'm a little suspicious of Becky. She appeared on this channel right at launch, just about the same time I started covering Alice in Borderland. And she keeps trying to get me to cover similarly themed content. And I'm starting to wonder, Becky, are you a game master? You can tell me. Are you running the simulation that is my life? Anyway, the point is, Becky has been a great commenter, but I wouldn't trust her as of yet. But I see exactly why y'all wanted me to watch High-Rise Invasion. It's just like Sweet Home and Alice in Borderland. If you don't know, the series centers on a cast of characters led by high school student Yuri Hanjo, who awaken in some sort of parallel reality where they're forced to fight for their lives or run for them as mysterious mask-wearing figures chase them down and attempt either to kill them or get them to kill themselves.
Give them despair. Make them commit suicide by jumping.
Yes, just as in Alice and Sweet Home, the characters in this show are trapped in an alternate reality full of violence and other brutality, and in which one of the central themes is once again despair. However, each of these shows we've covered that touch on despair stress different aspects of this theme, and to me, High-Rise Invasion focuses on what we must become in a world rife with despair in order to survive. But before I really explain that, I first need to explain more about the show and the parallel reality in which it is set, because it's a super weird place. Weird like people identify each other by the type of underwear they wear.
Who is that? Those panties? Yuri?
I mean, I just go by the face, but that's just me. Now, the mask game in this world is a complicated one. Each mask is code encrypted and hacks into the consciousness of its wearer, putting that person under the control of God candidates, which we'll explain in a bit. There are a bunch of different types of masks, each of which endows their wearers with different purposes and abilities. Smiley face masks are known as angel masks and can be used to command their wearers to murder or push targets to despair and suicide.
To reach the edge of despair.
Then there's angry masks, which are known as guardian angel masks, whose wearers are coded to prevent the destruction of the realm and God candidates from becoming gods.
Slow down. It would be best if you didn't face me as an enemy. If the mask recognizes your animosity, the self-defense command will activate and you'll be killed.
There are also emotionless masks whose wearers provide supplies to those in the realm.
What's he? You got these from an emotionless mask?
And finally, there are faceless masks, which are special masks that allow their wearers to become closer to God. These masks also endow their wearers with extra special abilities while allowing them to still maintain their free will and consciousness to some extent.
It installed loads of data into my brain at once. The command activated at the end, and that's when it destroyed the mask.
Now, what about God candidates, also known as ones who are closer to God? Well, God candidates are people who have worn a faceless mask and thus have had the mask's code installed in their brains, along with all of the special abilities that it offers, which includes controlling other masks.
I'm the one closer to God. You see, I strive to eliminate those who want to put an end to this fabulous place. I'm only able to control one angel, or mask as you call them, at a time.
Apparently, the High-Rise realm and all of its various obstacles exist in order to create a god who will thus become ruler over the realm and steer its destiny as they please.
You see, someone must have noticed that there is no God in our world, which is why we were summoned here, to this place, to create a God.
Of course, the promise of this kind of power in itself imparts a brutality upon the realm as the ambitious race to achieve godhood.
That's unfortunate for you, though. I'm willing to do anything to make sure no one becomes a perfect god before I do.
Yes, the High-Rise realm is full of despair, as the unlucky denizens of this hellhole are thrust into its madness and must cope with the world around them that they'd rather do without. And some can't take it and thus leap to their deaths. And by the way, does everyone in this show have to jump directly onto their heads? Like, that doesn't seem comfortable or easy. But I digress. Enter Yuri, who is set against the tide of the High-Rise realm, as she is a kind and humane person in a world where devils thrive.
Our real enemy isn't the mask. Someone's giving them commands. They're our real enemy. So I will survive no matter what!
She soon encounters another character named Mayuko Nisei, aka Mayu, who comes pretty close to killing her. Ultimately, the two become close friends, and that might sound odd given their introduction. But Mayu is only playing by the rules of the game. You have to kill to survive in the high-rise realm.
That helicopter only has room for one of us to escape. Kindness isn't gonna get you anywhere in this world. It's just human against human in this death match.
We've discussed this idea before on this channel. When compassionate people are placed in surroundings that conflict with their natures, they have a very difficult time surviving. Because their empathy and honesty aren't rewarded. Instead, those qualities are seized upon by predators.
I won't deny that I've killed humans and masks alike using any means that were available to me. Those are just the rules of this world. Anyone stupid enough to hold on to their kindness in this world has signed their own death warrant.
I mean, this isn't too foreign of an idea for you all to understand, right? Sometimes you probably feel frustrated or really down because despite the fact that you treat everyone around you with kindness, sometimes the world doesn't play nice back and hurts you despite your goodness. So one choice for Yuri in this world would be to jump off of a high-rise, but instead she's determined to hold on to her life and to her humanity.
I refuse to follow this world's rules. I'll stubbornly break through on my own terms.
This is a daring proposition. To go against the way of the world is never a safe endeavor. However, the rare individuals who take such actions stand a chance of changing the world. However, they often perish in doing so. Yuri cares, however, and she is bothered by injustice, not just towards herself, but that which all people in the realm are victim to.
Of course it bothers me. As long as this world exists, innocent people get kidnapped here. Then they're forced into committing suicide. It's completely unforgivable.
Sorry for the blurring here, by the way. I personally think that nudity shouldn't be an issue. That said, while I do want to be the cool guy here, I do feel like maybe Yuri slightly overwatched her left arm there. I mean, even Mayu got fed up.
I know, it's unfair, but can you hurry up and just put some clothes on already?
High-Rise Invasion just has too much in the way of sexual objectification of its characters, or as Congo would tell me to say, fan service. But as I always do, I digress. The high-rise realm does not make it simple for one to maintain their humanity. Fear attempts to pull it away from the people there. In a state of war, man resorts to survival mode and kills before he is killed.
The moment you look, it's like you're instantly living in a dream. Try to disobey and you'll just end up following the commands.
The thing about the masks is that it's so much easier to just put them on, let go of one's fear, and give up control over one's faculties. Angel mask wearers don't have to be self-aware or feel fear. They get to go to sleep and forget.
Fear and anxiety? It will all go away. This is your salvation.
Just as in the real world, there are so many outs available to us. If we just want to cede our values, give up trying to be honest and kind in the face of our fears, our insecurities, and the malicious actors who bane us. Giving in to the mask is easier, but you may lose the best parts of yourself in doing so.
My processing power improved. I got stronger in exchange for her. However, because of that, I feel even more withdrawn from humanity.
However, as I said at the start of this video, High-Rise Invasion focuses on what despair forces us to do in order to survive. See, ultimately Yuri does give in a bit, because sometimes one has no choice in a brutal world but to fight back, to commit acts that betray one's values. Yuri eventually puts on a faceless mask, and in that way she plays by the realm's rules, which ultimately are put in place to find a god. And not only that, but she kills others, many times.
You're done for!
She doesn't fully maintain her humanity. She gives in at times to save herself and others. Starting to remind you of anyone yet? Perhaps Yuri from Sweet Home. There's just too many similarities between all these shows. Anyway, High-Rise's Yuri has changed a lot since the beginning of her time in the high-rise realm.
Yuri Honjo's just another typical high school girl. She wasn't this strong to start with. She overcame countless struggles in this world. She gradually became stronger over time.
She had to become hardened, stronger in order to face the obstacles in front of her, and so too did the obstacles in front of her make her stronger. At the point the show leaves us off, Yuri has become a brave and weathered warrior, and in doing so she has sacrificed some of her innocence and softness. Wouldn't it have been so great if she could have just stayed the happy, spirited, clean-handed person we met in the first episode? Ah, but this is the catch-22 of life. Born into a world full of both light and dark, if we don't adapt to darkness at all, then we cannot survive it. But if we fully embrace it, then we will lose ourselves to it. Yuri gives up just enough of her light side to protect herself and her friends, but she still maintains her essence.
My goal all along was to end this world. And I'm gonna do it by disobeying its rules as much as possible.
She's maintained the most important parts of herself despite having adapted somewhat to the brutal ways of the high-rise realm. And this seems to be a fair enough outcome. After all, she's still alive. So while in a simplistic version of an ideal world there'd be no despair, it's actually despair itself that can provide the push necessary for people to become strong enough to survive.
No, please. Just put an end to this detestable world.
We like to think we'd be better off without negative feelings like sadness or anger or having to cope with depression and anxiety. We think we'd be better off destroying a world in which terrible things happen. But while, yeah, these things can be painful, they also give us a chance to gain insight and more empathy and willpower. In this way, negative feelings are beautiful. You'll realize that Yuri and Mayu become close very fast. Despair can have that effect. Harrowing situations experienced together can foster greater love between people than there existed before. Especially because obstacles create situations for people to display their humanity, courage, and kindness. Without obstacles, without bad things, how would you know who really loves you? How would you know who your true friends really are?
I can't believe she's just turning her back like that to a stranger in this world. Or could it be that she really does trust me?
In a world like the one we see in High-Rise Invasion, people don't often take camaraderie for granted, and trust and friendship shoot up in value.
I can't believe it. He really came all this way. That means he trusts me. Me, Rikuya Yoshida.
So you see, it's all of these horrible things that happen in High-Rise and in the real world that provide a contrast against which we can more clearly identify and appreciate good things.
What a turn of events. To come from that life into this world of despair and still feel happiness.
And perhaps that explains Mayu's observation here. Why? Why is she happy in a world full of despair? The answer is that only through despair can we really get to know happiness. Anyways, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this series. I'm definitely interested in hearing your thoughts because it's gotten a lot of mixed reviews so far. Remember to subscribe to this channel. We really need you on board. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a damn thing. For now, my name is American Ben. I'll catch you next time. Generation Ochi, peace.